And with that, I'd like Don to come up and speak about formula a little bit.
Thank you, Nick. As you said, I'll discuss a little bit about SAE formula. Unlike Baja, the formula car is not an off-road vehicle. It's designed to be an open-wheel, open-cockpit track car. Its finely tuned suspension allows it to hug the tarmac through tight, neck-bending corners. The car's space frame chassis weighs a mere 58 pounds. That's about 15% of its total 370-pound weight. Its highly modified single-cylinder engine emits a low, thunderous rhythm as it eagerly answers the driver's call for more acceleration down the straights. All in all, the formula cars beg the driver to drive them faster and tighter with every passing lap. There are 3 official SAE competitions hosted in the US, as well as others across the globe. The domestic competitions take place in the spring and early summer, the first of which is in Virginia in late April. The next, and most widely attended, takes place in Michigan in early May, or mid-May, I guess, about a week after finals. The final competition is held in California in June. The Michigan competition, which is the only one that ISU will attend, hosts 140 teams from top engineering schools around the world. Traditional international competitors include teams from Australia, Japan, South Korea, Germany, Austria, Finland, the Netherlands, the UK, Canada, Mexico, Argentina, and Brazil. The language barriers between the teams are easily overcome with the aid of torque and horsepower, or kilowatts as some teams prefer. Like the Baja competition, Formula competes in static and dynamic events. The static competitions include cost, marketing, and design competitions. This gives the teams a chance to compete on paper with other schools as though the car was actually being produced in industry. The dynamic competitions are the most exciting by far. The car must pass a series of safety checks before it ever moves on the course. Then it's time to fuel up and start racing. The first morning hosts the acceleration and skid pad events. The weather constantly is on the verge of rain, so teams are always running back and forth to the paddocks, getting wet tires and umbrellas to keep the drivers dry. The afternoon hosts the autocross event. This is a special cone layout where there are several obstacles, including a slalom, chicane, and other driving challenges. This tests both the acceleration and maneuverability of the car in a short, fast-paced track. There are 2 drivers that each get 2 laps for this event. That rounds out the first day of dynamic competition. The second day is the endurance race. Here, the car will compete in a 22-kilometer endurance race, multiple laps on the same course, a larger one from autocross though. And in the middle of that, there's a required pit stop and driver change. Now this is the catch. The judges inspect the underside of the car, and if there's any fluid leaking onto the tarmac, you're automatically disqualified. So not only do we have to build a car, but it needs to be good. Please join me in recognizing the leaders that helped design the 08-09 Formula car. Our project director is Nick Crowell. Go ahead and come on up. Our tech director is Adam Whithauer. Our assistant tech director and body team leader is Tyler Johnson. Jim Rasmussen is our chassis leader. John Leonard is the suspension team leader. Jamie Whistler is the controls team leader. Nick Paduska, final drive. Andrew Gross, engine. And I'm the electrical director for the team. Thank you very much. You can go ahead. It's now my pleasure to introduce one of the original ISU Baja members, Jim Heisen.
Thank you, John. I'm going to spend a little time now reminiscing, about 15 minutes, and I'm going to have another person come up here too, and that's my twin brother, John Heisen. We were both involved with the very first SAE competition team, and so I'm going to spend a little bit talking about that. My current position here at the university, I'm a lecturer and design projects coordinator with the department. and was involved with SAE Mini Baja from 1982 through 1986. John now is a senior quality assurance engineer at Rockwell Collins, working with, of all things, the Boeing Dreamliner project. And he was involved with Baja from 1983 to 1986 as well. The two of us working on Baja, the Civil Air Factory, got to be known as J&J Engineering. So with that, let me talk a little bit about it. The SAE competition, when it started with a few teams and had some very interesting competition rules to it. David Harms, who was the SAE president back in 1981, decided that Iowa State should get involved with this, so he put a team together. But the only further they got was getting a rudimentary design going. So in '82, I got involved, and we got to talking and decided, well, we need to make a vehicle, but let's keep it simple. So we made a very basic rudimentary car. Engine, drivetrain, seat, safety belts, roll cage, fire extinguisher, everything the rules called for, and that's it. No suspension. So we discovered that when you put a car out on the track with no suspension, that it probably rides like a basketball, and it did. So that drove us to design another car in '84 that had a suspension on it. We decided to add a lot of other things to it too. But we discovered too, when you do not keep it simple, you wind up with a trailer queen, as we called it. So here's the first team we had in 1983 competition, going from left to right. Now the first gentleman, I cannot recall his name, so he'll have to remain nameless. But the rest of them there, starting with the gentleman in the yellow shirt, is Kevin Shepard, followed by David Harms, Phil Schlofeld, then myself, Jim Miller, and our faculty representative for that year at the competition, Gay Scandrett, who was a technician and went along with us all our trips from '83 through '86, and then some. We competed at Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at the Braces Stratton facility. It was also sponsored by Harley Davidson that year. And we did our endurance event, which was only 1 hour back then. But for a lot of those vehicles in the competition, 1 hour was plenty long. And we ran at the Aztalan motocross track. And that's a picture of the car in the heat of the battle with the mud and everything else around it. So as you can see, it's a very basic vehicle. This is some other pictures of competition going through our first safety inspection. And then also some other pictures from the event. Now, for you guys in competition today, that's the starting lineup back in 1983. It was all of maybe 32 vehicles. And we thought that was a pretty good noise when they hit the starting flag and you laid on all those little Braces Stratton. But 100 to 140, I'm pretty sure makes a pretty good din nowadays. So in 1984, we created our trailer queen. But we had some nice firsts on it. We had electric start, we had running lights, we had a suspension that worked very well. We scored very well in ride and handling. But that's about all the farther we got through the competition. And I'll let John talk a little bit about that as well.